Hi, it's Sherry from Our Life Homeschooling, and I want to take you along with me today and show you how I'm going to be planning for our next homeschool year. As I show you what I do to plan for a new homeschool year, you'll want to stick around for the very last thing that I do. It is the most important thing, and you don't want to miss it. If you're new to my channel, my name is Sherry. I'm a Christian homeschooling mom to 10 kids. I'm married to my high school sweetheart. We've been married for 24 years, and we are starting our 15th year of homeschooling. I started this channel as a way to encourage other homeschool moms that are a couple years behind me to help you stay the course, because I believe we are raising the next generation right here in our homes, and the job we're doing is so important. The first thing that I want to say before I start any of this is that you can start your homeschool year simply. You can have something special planned, but you don't have to. You can just start. You can pick up where you left off and just open your books and begin again. If you have a routine and you have something for your kids to do for reading, writing, and math, if you have something that you can read aloud to them, you can start there and then keep going and adding to it as you move along. You're going to learn as you go. Homeschooling is a lifestyle. And so you don't have to have these great special things planned for the first day. If you have something fun planned, that's fine. But if not, that's okay too. We have 10 kids. Our oldest is 19. We're starting our 15th year of homeschooling. So I have been in baby mode basically since we started. I've been either pregnant, had a baby, we always have a toddler. So some years we started and I had a busy summer. I know a couple times I was due with a baby in the first month of our school year starting. We had lots going on, and so I didn't always have something great to start with. I didn't always have a great plan. Sometimes I didn't buy all the things I needed, but it was okay. I just started. I picked a day to start with, and we opened our books, and that's really what homeschooling is, just opening up the books again and starting where you left off. It's also a lot of practical life skills, so when you think that you're not getting as many things done as you want to, you are, if you're bringing your kids alongside of you in all that the work you're doing throughout the day. There have been some summers over the years that have been a little lighter. Maybe we had less going on, and I was able to plan something special for that first day, and that was always nice, but it's not necessary. This year has been a lighter summer for me, and I've had a little bit more time to think about things, so that's been nice, and I've enjoyed it. I'm not feeling quite as much pressure. I've been able to get a couple things done ahead of time, which is also nice. So just remember as you begin that you can just start. You can keep it really simple, and it's still going to be very good. The first thing I do to start planning for a new homeschool year is to clean out all our homeschool spaces. And if you watched the video from last week, that's just what I did. I cleaned out my kids' work boxes. I organized our library. I went through I didn't show this in the video, but I've gone through some of the wardrobes where we keep our homeschool things, and just organized everything, threw away a ton of stuff. And that's my first step. I have to start with something clean first of all. The second thing is to inventory what supplies I'm gonna need for the new school year. And this is, for us, surprisingly, a lot less than most people would think. Over the years, we've accumulated things. The more you homeschool, you accumulate a little bit more every year. And where we are now, starting our 15th year of homeschooling, I am buying very little. I'm not buying much curriculum at all. I'll be buying a few math workbooks for my kids because those are consumable. I like to buy, when I have the time ahead to think of it, I like to buy each of my kids a new book, picture book, chapter book. Doesn't even have to be new. It could be just new to us. I can find them used places. Something for them to open on the first day. That's kind of a fun tradition we've had. But again, not something that I've necessarily done every year, not something you have to do. My older kids are in a co-op, a drop-off co-op where they get most of their high school subjects. And so I need to look at what textbooks they're going to need for their classes. Now our oldest son has gone all the way through, he graduated, and so when he went through, we acquired a lot of the textbooks that I'm using for my other kids. So I just need to look through, see if we have the books that they need. Some of them are picking different classes than he did, so I'll need to buy some of those things, but it's not a whole lot this year. I did do a little back to school shopping, if you want to call it that. I like to start, when we start again, it is nice to have a few things that are new. But I think that you're going to be surprisingly underwhelmed with how little we buy, how little you actually need to start homeschooling. One thing I buy that I don't have here, I have some of these here, and I'm actually going to just work on organizing some of these while I do the video with you. One thing we bought ahead of time on Amazon was pencils. We buy a huge box of pencils, and this lasts us through the whole year. I buy a certain brand because I like to have good ones. Another thing we invested in years ago was a really good pencil sharpener, electric pencil sharpener. I can't even tell you how many years we went with just a turn style pencil sharpener, and I had no strong boards on my main floor that I wanted to screw that into on the wall. So we had it down in our basement where there were some posts. So the kids had to go down to the basement, sharpen their pencils, and I don't know why I went through that hassle for so many years. Finally bought an electric pencil sharpener. If you don't have an electric pencil sharpener, it is one of the best little perks that I've ever spent money on for myself in homeschooling. Definitely need an electric pencil sharpener. So we buy pencils. I went to Walmart and I found just a couple of things. I always buy these 1/2-inch notebooks. I bought 7 of these, one for each of my kids that are in school this year. This is for their portfolios, their end of the year portfolios. And then I also, Walmart had these notebooks for 45 cents each. I bought 10 of them because some of the kids still have ones from last year that are pretty empty. We'll pick up on those. But I bought some new ones. I'm wondering if I should have bought more. But at least we have 10 to start with. I can go back and get some more later. Another thing that I have here, I bought a couple packs of black Sharpie markers. Ours are always running out, so that's important to have. Another thing that we use regularly is a whiteboard. In morning time, I use a whiteboard almost every day. And so I love these colored dry erase markers. And those also we go through pretty quickly. I have to remember not to let them out where little kids can reach them, leave the caps off, and then they dry out. I bought a new pack of staples and paper clips. Just nice to have extra. I bought some eraser toppers because a lot of times our pencils will last, but the erasers won't last. So these are nice to have. And then I also bought, I always buy a brand new pack of crayons, throw all the rest out once a year and buy a new pack of crayons, and I'm going to be putting them into this little pencil holder that I got for like $1, I think, at Walmart. One other thing that I bought that I don't have here that my kids really were excited about, which is kind of silly, they're very easy to please. They each got their own pair of really nice scissors. I spent a little bit of money, got them some nice scissors, put their names on each of them, and they're going to keep them in their work boxes because in our house we can never find scissors. Kids are always taking my kitchen scissors. We've bought scissors over the years and put them all in one place, but then they get lost. So now they each have their own, they have their name on it. If it gets lost, then they've lost their pair of scissors. So they're responsible for keeping track of it. And then the last thing I bought is some colored pencils. And we have a lot already. This is just kind of to refresh some of the ones and add some new colors to, especially the main colors that we usually run out of. So that's it for us for what I purchased. This is just to kind of refresh some of our supplies. You don't have to spend a lot of money to start a new homeschool year. The third thing that I do to get ready for a new homeschool year is to plan out our routine, to look at our routine and see what's missing. So if you've watched any of my videos from last year, our routine is fourfold. We have morning time, then we do chores and housework, which I tell my kids this is your first schoolwork. Next, we have independent work. So for this, they each have their own checklists and they just go down through each thing on their checklist until they're finished. Then we do break for lunch and outside time. The last thing that we do, the fourth thing we do, is read aloud together. For morning time, which is the first thing on our routine, I've already planned out our morning time. I did that over the summer. I made our simple morning time notebook. It's something that I shared with you last year. I'm sharing with you again. You can find it over on the blog, ourlifehomeschooling.com. I'll link it below. We follow a lot of Ambleside online, so if you are Charlotte Mason, if you are classical education, if you love Ambleside online, this is a great tool for you to use. In it, you'll find composer study, artist study, folk songs, hymn study, memory work, just lots of things. More than that, there's 31 pages. And so that I've already done. I did that early this year because I wanted to make it available to you. That is finished. The second thing in our routine is chores, and I updated our chore chart a couple weeks ago. So that's already done, and I don't have to look at that. The third thing that we do is our independent work. So the kids have checklists. This I haven't started yet. I will probably be bringing you along for that process maybe next week when I'm putting their checklist together. When I make my kids' checklists, I usually have them each sit down with me, at least, especially the older ones, sit down with me. If they have classes from co-op, that's the first thing that goes in there. And then next, we just talk about, what do you want to learn this year? What's important to you? I also do a lot of Ambleside online suggestions. That is what I consider the spine of my curriculum. I did a blog post a couple years ago on the essential Ambleside books that I include in our homeschool. And so you can look at the books. Ambleside is a feast. It's a lot. If you try to do it all, I think you're going to be overwhelmed. So I've kind of narrowed it down to the ones that I think are most important. When my kids are younger, so I guess like 6th grade and down, we pretty much follow Ambleside online as our core. And then when my kids are older, so middle school, high school, we kind of shift more to an interest-led style of learning because there's just so much that they want to try and explore, and it's important for them to do that, to learn what they're good at and to just kind of go in certain directions. I also did a checklist video at the end of last school year. I think I showed everyone my kids' checklists, and this was from grade 10 all the way down to kindergarten, everyone's checklist. So it kind of gave a good snapshot of what our day looks like at different levels. So if you want to look at that, I'll definitely link that for you. The fourth thing in our routine is our read aloud. And so sometimes I'll think ahead of time about what books I want to read to the kids throughout the year, but not always. I haven't thought about it too much this year. I like to ask the kids for suggestions, and I usually do an older kid read aloud and a younger kid read aloud. So if I get to it, then I'll go ahead and pick out some read aloud books that we're going to do in the afternoon. But if not, it's okay to just start thinking about that after your school year starts. And I want to say again that there have been years where on the first day of school I was not prepared. I had something for them to do for reading, writing, and math. I had a book to read to them. And on that first day, I started, that evening, I ordered some of the things that we needed for maybe their math coming up. I started writing out their checklists. And then just each day I added a little more to it. So I haven't always had everything ready for my kids on that first day of school. And that is okay, because learning is a lifestyle, and that's what homeschooling is for us. So on that first day, everything's coming back. They're opening things back up again, and I'm remembering, oh yeah, I wanted to do this, or oh, we need to make sure that we write this out and figure out how we're going to do that. And it's okay to do that on your first couple of days of school, your first week or two of school, to just start your planning as you're going. The last thing that I do to plan for a new homeschool year, and really it's the first thing, it's something that's forefront in my mind, in my heart, is to pray for our kids and to pray for our homeschool year. As a mom, as a parent, it is overwhelming to think of raising our children in the fear and admonition of the Lord, preparing them for the world that they have to live in, teaching them truth, goodness, and beauty. Jesus said, without me, you can do nothing. And so what we're doing with our kids really is of little eternal value if we're not drawing our strength from Him, leaning into Him, asking for His wisdom, praying for strength. Sometimes we'll have struggles with our kids and we don't know what to do, and it can be really hard, especially when you get some teenagers. And just stopping and asking the Lord, how can I pray for this child? Show me what we can do differently that would be better, that would be a better solution. Show me how this child learns and how we can meet his or her needs. Asking for the Lord's help, this is the place where we need to start our homeschool year. I hope this gives you some ideas and gets your brain thinking. Some of you have probably already started homeschooling, and maybe many of you are with me. We start in 2 weeks, and all I've done so far is clean things out, and I have their morning time planned. The rest of it I haven't done, and I'm not stressing about it because we just do a little bit every day, and I know that you don't have to have everything just so or a certain way or perfect to start. We can start and get going and add to it as we're going. So thanks for watching. I do 1 video a week on homeschooling encouragement for everyday moms. If you like this content, I encourage you to watch the video I did last week as I was preparing for a new homeschool year, cleaning out and just changing some of the decor around here to make our home a more inviting place to learn. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next week.